Norfolk's Prisoner Reentry Council has been a leader in innovative and effective approaches to help former felons return home to a life with a future. Now attention is turning to a different generation of offenders that includes children, teens, and young adults. Donita Gordon works with incarcerated students of all ages, and Dr. Clifton Clark works with Regent University, is a professor there, and he's a dynamic figure in local and international faith-based communities. So lucky for us, both are members of the newly formed Norfolk Juvenile Reentry Committee. It's a mouthful, but there's so much going on in this particular area. A lot of interest is being generated toward our youth because there are things happening in our world that are driving our attention in that direction. Donita, just crime and youth is happening a lot more.
Yes, it is. It's definitely happening a lot more, which led us to convening the Norfolk Juvenile Reentry Committee. We're very new, and we started back in July of 2015. And what led us to create such a committee was the drive and the spike in juveniles, young offenders, committing very violent crimes. And so a group of committee partners, organizations, both local and state agencies, we all decided, let's get together, let's come together for a common cause, and let's provide some wraparound services that will help these young offenders.
Okay. And these young offenders are generally in what age group?
Typically, you will find young offenders as young as 10 years old. Our target population are high-risk youth, probably between the ages of 12 to 22.
Okay, still, that's a 10-year period, a very, very critical period in the life of a child and an adolescent and young adult, and certainly in the church community. That's a group that can be very highly influenced by a lot of factors.
Yes,
so the
indeed.
church is a very important part of this whole movement.
Well, first of all, I think this issue of mass incarceration of youth it's a nationwide problem, and for a long time we have expected law enforcement and court system, juvenile justice system, to deal with this problem. There's an old adage which says that it takes a community, a village, to raise a child. And it's important that we recognize that this is a community problem, not a law enforcement problem. And really, I'm delighted to be a part of this subcommittee because in the United States, we incarcerate more people every year than any other country in the developed world. It's a mass problem. Often kids are in solitary, as young as 10, 11, they're in solitary confinement for up to, 20 hours a week in some cases. And we just want to put our heads together and think about how can we approach this problem? Because, it really starts in the family, for example. A lot of these kids are coming out of challenging family situations, single parents, violence in families, isolation, and it affects all of us in one way or another. And so this is a committee which really wants to bring us together and say, how can we take a holistic approach? And I'm glad the faith-based community is involved too.
Yes, so the faith-based community, certainly your work in the schools has you connected in ways that, and of course you've also seen firsthand how these kinds of issues can impact young people and children. So that motivates you certainly. What other groups are represented at this point?
Well, we definitely have the Norfolk Human Service Department, which is the Norfolk Reentry Council. They are the spearheads for this program. We work along with Norfolk Public Schools. We have representatives through the Norfolk Sheriff Office. We also have some other agencies and organizations that have come together, Department of Juvenile Justice. And then we also have just ordinary community partners, people who just have an invested interest in helping to see our youth succeed.
Right, and so now you've been meeting since July, so do you have things that you are working on so far, or you're kind of looking toward accomplishing?
Yes, we are proud to say we've just accomplished the first resource guide, which hopefully will be printed out very soon. With the resource guide, we've kind of departmentalized the areas of help that will target if an individual needs help with health crisis, if they need help because their youth is incarcerated, if they need help with wraparound services and different resources that are available, financial resources, educational resources, all the way down to if your student needs help with a special education IEP. So it's just, once again, a collaboration of agencies, school divisions, everyone who has a great interest for Norfolk.
This resource guide that you're talking about really, I guess, would answer the question that many parents may have about my child is just, I can't control him or her. I see that he or she might be headed for trouble, hanging around with the wrong people, particularly in their teen years, but could be even younger. I don't know what to do. Where can I go? What can I do for him or her that's going to help them look at things differently so that bad doesn't come to them or somebody else?
And that's the target question that is driving our council. What do I do? That's what parents are coming to us with. What do I do? What's next? I've tried to find help in multiple ways. I don't know what to do. And so we have taken that question and we've presented it to the committee. And the committee right now is working on focus groups. We're trying to not just look at it from an outward perspective, but we're trying to look at the statistics. We're trying to take a research approach to answering that question. Why is it that parents do not know what to do? Is it that they do not know how to locate the resources? And so hopefully with the resource guide, they'll be able to find a very user-friendly guide to resources, not just in the Norfolk community, but throughout the state of the Commonwealth.
Right, because we know that, you know, we have jurisdictional lines or we have city limits, but that does not mean your behavior changes as you go across the city line at all. So we do have to work as an even larger community. This could be the beginning of something much larger.
And that's what we're anticipating. We have a lot of vision and goals that we have for the 2016 year. And we're just planning to come together, brainstorm together, and we have a lot of good dialogue in our meetings.
You are a relatively new member, if that can be even said, because it hasn't been formed for that many months, but nonetheless, you've just come on board. So what was your first impression?
Well, I like the fact that they began with the parents, because I do believe that the child's first experience of community is in the home. And oftentimes we begin too late, often. And I think that the fact that we can find a way to empower parents. I have a number of people in my congregation who have teenage kids who they're just despairing. They've tried everything. They really don't know what to do. Pastor, can you pray for me? And so, and finding the resources. And so this resource guide will be a good one-stop shop just to help, you know, individuals can say, well, you can start here, you know. And so I'm really pleased with the fact that we can work with families. And one of the things we're looking at is, you know, why do parents often not get involved if their kids are incarcerated? And oftentimes they just feel they're tired. And many times they're single parents, they're in despair, they're trying to work, they're trying to keep a roof over their head, and their kids, they're going to school often, and they're just worn out. And coming up with some, you know, trying to understand things from their perspective, you know, and I think that's quite important. How do you feel, and how can we support you, rather than just thinking that we have all the answers?
Well, I can see why you're excited about being involved with this, because it does help you answer some questions.
Well, absolutely, yes.
that you hadn't really been able to answer before, and I think that, or, you know, at least you have some options that you can provide people that you weren't able to, well, that maybe didn't exist because you are in the process of maybe creating some of these opportunities. You mentioned the focus groups. So who would be in these focus groups, Danita?
Well, we're ultimately looking for those who are in the high-risk population. That's the target. By high risk, typically those who may have already been involved in the court system.
So this would be youth that you're talking about.
Youth offenders. Maybe the child has been suspended from school. Maybe truancy has gotten involved. So that's the reason why Norfolk Public Schools is a great resource guide. And so helping all of us to come together and to collaboratively think of ways to solve some of those issues.
And the kids would be a part of helping to solve those problems,
Yes,
which is of course
definitely.
brilliant, because you know you want them to share the insight
Yes.
that maybe the adults lack because they aren't where the kids are.
Exactly.
You know, so the focus groups are one aspect of it. You have another meeting coming up, and you meet monthly. Is that correct?
Yes, we meet every second Tuesday of the month
Okay.
at the Norfolk Workforce Development Center on Little Creek Road, and we meet in room 208.
Room 208. It's at 1 p.m. every second Tuesday. 664-7799, and that is again the Juvenile Reentry Committee, which is a subcommittee of the Norfolk Reentry Council. And you can certainly find out more by going to norfolk.gov/reentry. Find out more about the Reentry Council and what they're doing. It'll give you an idea of, you know, some of the footprint that they might be establishing here, but this is still a completely different kind of situation when you're coming with kids who are growing up and learning good and bad things, acting them out.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and then you have the adults and people who are leaders in the faith-based communities who see this and see parents despairing over their children and what can they do. But also know you're invited if you are an organization or an individual that is interested in becoming involved in some of this collaborative effort. And I know you're spreading that throughout your ministry as well as with,
Well, that's right. Yes,
yes.
And it's also important to engage the juveniles themselves.
Yes.
Get the kids involved. I think that's an important aspect of it.
Yes.
To, peer group pressure when in the playground, in the streets, when other kids can be empowered to really affront these kind of negative behaviors. That's one of the most important things that we need to do. Empower youth.
Great. Well, sounds like a great start. I hope you
you.
get a good response from this. Please give them a call if you're interested. There are so many good things happening, and
Yes,
we
it
want our children and our young people to grow up feeling good about themselves and
Right.
contributing to the community, which is what we all want. But they're trying to find a way to make that happen, and they need your help, and they need the kids' help too.
Yes.
That's right.
Thank you very much for sharing just the ground floor of all these exciting things. So I'll be interested to hear how things develop. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Jan.
We'll be back in a moment with information about a free program that helps mature adults navigate the application process for food assistance. We'll be right back.